to go live in the echoes of soul led leadership. Let's see if we are live. Here we are. I am live in the echoes of soul led leadership with my dear, dear guest. I am so excited to have Lori Johnson here with us today. I'm just going to hit this so we can see our viewers come up. Let's talk about Lori for a minute. Lori is an educator at heart. This woman has had a long, beautiful career as a teacher spanning across 4 decades. She doesn't look it, does she? 4 decades. Lori's an author and the founder of something called the Daisy app, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. She offers other women hope. She offers them gratitude. And most important of all, how fitting for the echoes of love, love. Lori wants women to know that they can smile again, even after profound loss. And we're here to talk a little bit deeply about what profound loss does to a person and how one can find a way through it. I'm not going to say out of it, but find a way through it. Lori, thank you so much for being here in the Echoes of Love. I just want to welcome you with such a warm heart, and I'm going to give you
Oh,
a big hug.
oh,
I
mwah.
just want to
Thank
give you a big
you,
hug.
Josie, for having me. I'm
It's my
so grateful to be here.
Lori, can you tell us a little bit, first of all, about what I, because we spoke earlier, and I know
Mhm,
you were deciding that you wanted to be with us here in the Echoes of Love, and you had some hiccups that came along the way,
mhm,
and alas, you came
mhm.
here. Why the Echoes of Love? What inspired you to want to be here?
Well, I love the name.
Hmm.
The first thing that struck me was the name. And then I had watched you in Elizabeth Ocean's group and really resonated with what you were saying, telling about the story of your father and his messages. And you talked about the little sparrow or there was something that you had saved from the pool. Do you remember?
Yes, it was a
A
dragonfly.
dragonfly, yes. And how you loved it. It was a little dragonfly and you loved it. So, and the wings, it dried up and it flew away. And that's when I went, oh, this woman and I we connect because I will save wasps. I saved a wasp out of the pool this summer at our house, not in our house, in our condo, and it stung me on the way as it flew away. But it didn't matter because it was still alive and well to fly away, and my sting healed.
Oh my
Yeah, so
gosh. Wow. Well, thank you for being here. I'm so grateful that our paths have connected.
mhm,
I would love to chat with you, Lori, a little bit about let's just like go right in if that's okay. Like
mhm.
dive in to why you do what you do. Tell us a little about in your own words about what inspired you to create these beautiful things that we're going to talk about in a few moments. What was that point that made you say I need to do this?
I'd love to tell you about that because it's really cool. So I had, after I was still teaching at the college, I had taught elementary school, secondary panel, and now then I thought, well, why not do some college? Because I loved being a teacher. It made my heart so happy. And but I was trying my hand at different things. I had the beauty of having dogs in my classroom that supported students, and I founded a charity that we actually place therapy dogs in schools with the teacher. And so they're actually in the school with those students all the time. And it's so beautiful. But I was finding that it wasn't serving me anymore as I was moving into different stages of my life.
Mhm.
And so I started doing something called Ho'oponopono. I don't know if you've ever heard of that practice. And it's the clearing and cleaning, just clearing up making space for new things to come into your life. So one night I was sleeping at the cottage, one of my favorite places to be, and I was woken up with a whisper, and it said, "Write your story." It said it twice. "Write your story." And I knew right away what the story was. And it came through me. I knew right then and there that it had come through me. And 35 years ago in July, I gave birth to my second child, and there was medical error, and he did not survive the trauma of his delivery. And I'm not a stranger to loss. My father died when I was only 18 suddenly, and then my mom passed away when I was 45, but still a young mom raising children. My my first husband, who was the father of our children, also has passed. But this loss, I buried. I buried it and buried it. And part of that is society doesn't there's a silence around miscarriage, baby loss. It's the World Health Organization speaks of it a lot on their website and how it's just unacceptable and we have to change that. So I actually started writing my book. I would walk in the bush with my doggie and I would practice Ho'opono while I was out there. I would get in the present moment, as we talk about a lot, and just it was, I call it downloading, but each chapter would just start flowing through me. And I'd get back home, open up my laptop, and it just, my fingers flew. It was, I've been told by a woman who is a lovely lady who used to own her own publishing company, who's read my book, that it's conscious streaming writing. And it truly came from outside of me. And so, yeah, so that is where the inspiration, it was divinely inspired.
Yeah, I everything you just said, I get the tingles. A lot of people know when I say I get the
Yeah,
tingles at my
yeah.
spine, right? You get that feeling, you
Hmm.
know that it's just in that in it's I would say it's in the right moment. It's there. Something you said about awareness of loss, awareness of miscarriage, awareness of child loss, awareness of I'm going to go to the grief, to the part of grief that stays within us that you said something about it being buried. Can you talk about that a little bit, Lori?
Hmm. Um, so I guess there was nothing for women when I lost my son. Um, you just you just do what women do. You get strong and you go on. I went back to work. I was entitled to my full maternity leave, but I decided that going back to teaching was probably going to be a good thing for me. And it was. But over time, I would try to talk about him. My biggest concern was that people would not have known him, so they would forget him.
Mm.
And yet I was the one at the end of the day who did not talk about him anymore because I learned pretty quickly that it wasn't a comfortable place. People just, they didn't know what to say to me. They didn't know what to do. They didn't, your last guess, Nancy was talking about listening. And sometimes all you have to do is listen and create space for the person that you're listening to's grief. And people just didn't seem to know how to do that. So I stopped talking.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
I realize now, since I've written the book, how healing, oh my goodness, it was for me first and foremost. The healing, you speak a lot about the legacy of love. Well, what I'm doing now is my legacy of love to my son. Yes, it took me a long time to get here, but it feels so, I've got goosebumps. You get it here in the neck. I've got them all over me. I get a real response with goosebumps when I speak about different parts of what I'm telling you about. But it feels so good, so right. I've there's no pushing or pulling. It is just from my heart,
Mm.
truly from my heart. And
Yeah. Lori, that's just so I just was filled with I got tears in my eyes just hearing you
aw.
talk about that. I can yeah, it's not about me this interview, but I can feel that I had an unexpected pregnancy. I've already had my two kids and I went through a miscarriage and I can understand what you mean about you pushed it down and you bury it, even though, I can look back now and say, yeah, those 3 months that I thought I was surviving, or 6 months. And no, I really did struggle, and I can understand because it does get buried. It's like, how am I
Hmm.
going to talk about something that nobody else knew? Nobody
That's
else knew
right. Yeah.
except for me, right? The intimacy that comes with that.
You
And
know,
then,
Josie, I have a friend at the gym where I work out. I've known her for 17 years, and we see each other 2 or 3 times a week in our classes. And when she read the book, and then she said, "Can we chat on our way out to the car?" And I said, "Of course." And she told me that she had a loss, and her son passed away in utero at 8 months, and she had to deliver that child. And so we cried together in the parking lot, and we hugged, and we, just gave each other that time that we both need. And I've all I could think of was we never talked about it.
mm, no, no. And there's not a platform for people to, it's not
Hmm.
normalized to talk about stuff like that. We're
Hmm.
still in its infancy stages of talking about grief, much less child
Yes.
loss, right?
Yeah.
Infant child loss, stillborn, birth, all of that is so taboo to speak about. But in the reality is, my belief is, if we put it out there and we do speak about it, it gives the opportunity for that story to now then maybe be recycled into something that can help somebody else.
Absolutely. That is my whole blue soul blueprint.
Your soul
It's my
blueprint.
soul blueprint to have told my story. Um, this is the picture. This is my book, and the title. This picture was he was just an infant, but my mother bought me this after he had passed. It's a picture with a frame. I've that frame is gone. That picture's gone with me to every home I've lived in. It's still in my home, and it's when we were talking about what the title page might look like for the book or the cover page, I knew it was going to be this particular picture that I carded, and it's just kind of it's got the looks like heaven.
It does.
Yeah,
It really does. It looks
yeah.
like I have some imagery in a movie that I saw that actually was all about
Mhm.
heaven, and it looked very much like that. Lori, since you have your book up there, let's talk about that book for a minute. Let's show everybody again, and let's talk about, you authored a book, you have a book that's out there. Tell us a little bit about the book and why people really should consider getting it.
Well, it is about loss, and there's some really difficult parts to read. But I think the part that I love about it and the reviews from people who are reading it is intertwined in the grief is hope, forgiveness, gratitude, and most important, faith, and most importantly, love. And without, I'm going to tell a really quick story. When I went back to work, I actually was slated to open up a new school with a whole new staff. And it was a pretty exciting adventure. And so the principal who was at the school, I had only met him a few times in the interview and then a couple of, meetings prior to opening. And he had been a Catholic priest. And he decided that the priesthood didn't offer him enough. He wanted to get married. He wanted to have children. He ended up getting married and having eight kids. And he was the best principal I think I've ever worked for. And he was so supportive of me after this happened. And one day he said to me, I was wanting to have another child, but I was really scared, really afraid of, I didn't think I could I didn't have the bandwidth or the whatever, the resiliency to go through something again. And he said, well, you could be a plastic rose and you will go through life. You'll never break because there'll be lots of bend and you won't ever have to worry about breaking again. Or you could be a real rose where you're going to live your life fully. That stem is going to move and maybe even break. You might lose a leaf, you might lose a petal, but you're going to be living fully. And I know you believe in this. Without loving, we can go through life not experiencing loss, but then we don't know what it's like to love completely and fully. And it's common knowledge that love is the opposite of fear. And if we can find our way to love, then we're not afraid anymore. And
Yes.
I have a beautiful son. I have a daughter who came first. I have two amazing people in my life as adults and grandkids because I chose to be that real Rose. I was scared to death. I had people tell me at my school that I was very detached from my pregnancy. And I was too scared, but it was worth every moment of loving first.
Mm. Oh, the fear can hinder us from so many things. And
Yes,
it has an innate purpose in us to keep us safe. But at the same time, in our day and age today, we don't need the same fear that maybe was inborn in us long,
right.
long ago.
Yeah.
And so I love how you said that the opposite of fear is love. And if we can only just love more and express love and live in love, and a lot of people don't understand what that means. And here you are, you've written a book. You've written a book about it to help guide
Hmm.
people through their grief journey. Can you maybe tell us? I mean, this might be a really deep question, but heck, we just said we're going to go
That's
kind of
okay.
deep
Yeah.
and I don't mean to put anybody on the spot, but what does love really mean? If somebody's saying, "Okay, I've had questions, Josie, what's echoes of love? What does love mean?" And reality is, I can't tell them what love means to them. I can tell them what it means to me and why this movement here was birthed out of my own grief, my own loss, knowing that why I felt so much grief was because I loved so deeply. So, how do we help other people understand truly what that love means to them?
Hmm.
A hard one.
Yeah. Well, it's like anything, being a teacher for my entire life, pretty much. Um, one of the reasons why I loved being a teacher is every student that came across my path, I found something in them to love so that I could teach them from who they were at their core.
Mm,
And when I found something to love, it just grows. And then you start to see, you don't see the things in that child or that teenager or that college student that might be what someone else might focus on because we're none of us are perfect. We all come with things that can make it difficult to have a relationship with us and with each other. But I found that when I could find one, like the mustard seed of faith, one little mustard seed in that of faith in that person, then I could really find everything that was good in them and develop this beautiful reciprocal relationship. And so I guess
mm.
just to try to make sense of that, to go back to your question, we all are individual. And so we all will love differently and we all forgive differently. I think it's trying to lead maybe more, like you talk a lot about, if we could all love, what kind of a universe we could live in. And oh my goodness, our world needs more love. And one of the reasons I love communities like Echoes of Love is because we see so much hatred and sadness when we turn on the news and when we, just look at Facebook. And this is a place where we focus on love and forgiveness. And forgiving was really hard in my situation because it was medical error.
Ouch.
That child he should have lived his life fully. It didn't need to happen. But this person, she's a doctor. She didn't go into that labor, that delivery room thinking that that was the outcome she didn't want that. They dedicate their lives to taking care of people. So I found a way to to forgive myself first You know,
Mm.
you the guilt, the stuff that you go through when these things happen, like it just anyway, I hope I somehow answered your question.
You did. You know what? You did so beautifully, Lori. Just by being here sharing from your heart, from a difficult point of where many people never end up getting to the point where they can share so openly and freely. And truthfully, in my humblest of opinions, is you're sharing truly from love. You're not sharing from that place of grief and loss, although that is the maybe the ignition that started your journey to where you're at was feeling that deep grief and that deep loss. But that transformed into something much bigger.
I that yep, grief never ends, but it transforms, it evolves, and it turns into the loving legacy.
The loving legacy,
Yes.
right?
And
Oh,
that's why I connected with you too so much when I first saw you in the Women's Spirit Community Festival. I just love that you had created a legacy and all the work that you're doing
mm,
out of the loss, the deep loss of your so loved father.
yeah. Oh,
And yeah, I just
well, thank you. Thank you so much, Lori. It means a lot to hear that. One of the things I would like to, I just have to take that in for a second. Thank you. That means a lot. This is definitely a movement from my heart that has continued to evolve
Mhm.
and will continue to evolve. The Echoes of Love is not going anywhere as we near the wrapping up, in a couple days of the speakers. Everything's still going to be visible there for 30 days. This interview will be there, and the speakers are taking their talks and they're putting them out into the world. So behind the scenes, there's a lot more that goes on, even
Mhm.
from what our audience is seeing and listening to. um, as we're getting close to wrapping up here, Lori,
Mhm.
I really would love to give the opportunity for you to talk about this beautiful app that you've created. This is unique. I've not had any speakers talk to me about they're giving away their free gifts
Mhm.
and they're up, but you have an app. Share it with
Yes.
us.
I have two things I want to share. So I'm going to quickly talk about the app and then I want to read one little section to leave you with.
Yeah.
So the app, it's called Daisy. Got a Daisy. And my mom was my rock. When my dad died, we were young. I was 18, my sister was 16. It was a sudden heart attack. He'd gone to the cottage. Like our world just changed everything. And my mom was a rock through all of that. And then when my son died, she was my rock. So, and she loved daisies. So I thought, and now I love daisies. So I thought, what better name? Daisy. So basically, when we have profound loss of any kind, we really need to be able to find support 24/7 immediately in the middle of the night. Um, coming up to holidays, whenever. And community, I believe, is so important. That's what we're talking about, this community here. So to be able to have a place where someone could come into the app, be welcomed, it's a sanctuary of love, of hope, of safety, where you can come exactly where you're at, come exactly as you are, and just be heard, be heard, and not have the fear of trying to tell your story and getting some of the unbelievable responses that we get from people. And that's not to be blaming or criticizing people, just like you said, don't necessarily know how to respond to grief. And I have two consultants within the app. One is a long time retired public health nurse, her whole career, and the other is a psychotherapist. So it's it's you know um, it's loved by people with lots of experience. Myself as an educator, having experienced that kind of loss, and then these other people who can be very supportive within the app. So yeah, so it's not out yet. It's coming. It will be in the Apple Store and the Google Store. That's the goal. The content is all done. Now we're just working towards the actual publication.
Wow. This would have been so helpful and will still continue to be helpful a year ago, right? When my family was going through this.
Hmm.
When you were talking about this, I thought, oh my gosh, even now we're coming up in
Yes.
February on our 1 year anniversary date. And why
Hmm.
do we put so much significance on dates too? But to have that 24/7 support, not just where you wake up in the middle of the night and you're crying and you're feeling grief or you feel your chest tighten and you feel sick because of it. Now you have an app that you can consult with, you can go to, you can take a minute to get in there and have some kind of guidance, even just to help you catch your breath from that moment.
That's a safe place, a sanctuary for your soul, a
Oh,
place to go. Yeah, when you're at your
if
deepest pain.
if you listeners, you people who are watching this, all of you beautiful souls in here, it's no lie that we all are going to experience a deep grief in our life if we haven't already. Put the word Daisy in the comments below if you want to be known, if you want to know. I'm getting too excited here. If you want to know when this app is ready, put the word Daisy. And what's going to happen is Lori's going to go back in here and she's going to take your names and then when her app is ready to be launched, she will let you guys know first. Is that okay, Lori? I just made that
Absolutely.
decision.
Thank you so much. I love it. And in the meantime, this is available on Amazon. Until next time, Lori Johnson. And I just cognizant of our time, I really want to just read this one little section to you.
I love it.
So I'm a fan of Oprah Winfrey. I
Mhm.
love her. And she had someone on her stage when she still had the show. And it was a woman who was talking about the death of her adult son. So she told how she climbed into bed with her beloved son to spend their last moments together. As he took his last breath, he whispered to his mother, "Mom, it's all so simple. It's all so simple." He closed his eyes and he died. This story, shared by Oprah about a mother's last moments with her dying son, offered me a profound insight. It illuminated a truth that can guide us through life's complexities. We allow life to get so complicated. If we ask ourselves how are we making things more complicated, can it support us as we take our next step, even in deep grief? Love, forgiveness, and gratitude are not just words, but powerful tools that can simplify our lives and bring us peace, even amid chaos. They can transform our perspective and guide us towards healing and hope. It can be that simple.
Wow. I don't have any tissues handy, but
Oh.
oh my gosh. Let's just take that in for a second, everybody. It's okay. We have time. I don't have another interview right away. Take that in. Those words, it's all so simple. It's all so simple.
And if our whole world, as you so often say, if we could lean in to love, gratitude, hope,
Mm.
forgiveness, we'd have a much easier world.
Can you imagine what would happen if
Mhm,
we all felt love at the same time?
mhm. I
What?
just get goosebumps every time you say that, every time I watch you and you say that.
Whew, wow. Well, what? I can't. I'm not speechless very often, but I am speechless. Lori, your book. I would love it if you could do this. Put the name of your book. I'm going to put it in this. I'm going to change up our little show description here a little bit too, and we'll pop the name in there. But pop it in the comments so that people know what the name of the book is, that they can buy it on Amazon. And then all of you beautiful people, take a moment, put the word Daisy in the comments below, so that when that Daisy app comes out, for you to be able to access 24/7 online support through the app that Lori Johnson has created, along with some beautiful care people, let's say, who are in that app
Mhm,
to nourish you and nurture you at the times when you need it most. So you do not have to wait for a group meeting once a week or talking to somebody online on a telephone call during business hours. Put the word daisy in the app in the the daisy. Put the word daisy in the comments below, and Lori will put you on her list. And as soon as it's released, she will send you a message. Lori, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you,
As we
Josie.
wrap up, I'd like what's your
Mm.
last little blurb of inspiration for everybody before we end?
Love yourself first. You deserve it. You're worth it. Give yourself space and grace, and know that grief does not end, but it can transform and evolve. And if we keep at the center of it a loving legacy for those who we have lost, and be that real rose. Be
Beautiful.
that real rose. It's so yeah.
Well, I'm not going to say anymore because
Mm.
Lori Johnson has dropped the mic, my friends. Thank you, Lori, so much for being here. And I look forward to welcoming you continually in, perhaps as a legacy slash pioneer of
Oh,
our Echoes of
I
Love.
don't think you're going to get rid of me, Josie.
So excited. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you. Have a really good day.